Go. All right, hey, how's everybody doing today? What we're doing here at this customer's house is we're taking this, it's a cabinet, there were doors on it. Should have just started the video before we took the doors off, but we're going to be taking this unit out and bringing the electrical and the cable forward. We're going to reframe it. You know, these sconces are going to go, so we got to take these out. We can't just leave the wires in the wall. We have to run them into a junction box and then cap them off. Anyway, so this is what we're going to start doing. We're going to have to score this. So we can score here, and these are caulked, and that way we can pop these off without you know, messing up the wall too much, because we want to be able to come back and we're going to have to mud this with joint compound and everything and sand it to make it all smooth so it goes away. And we want to frame this in a way to where they're going to come back and hang a much larger TV here. A lot of people are doing this these days, so we'll take pictures as we go. All right, like I was saying, we're just scoring this a little bit so that way it just breaks the caulk. So when we go to pry it off with our flat bars, it'll come off a lot easier. If it's something you're going to do, we're going to try to reuse this trim. Try to be very careful with it, because sometimes your razor knife wants to ride up and cut across the trim. And if you do it too deep, you can ruin a piece of trim. And some customers' houses have trim that are really old and you can't get anymore. So you want to be really careful with that. Basically, just take your time. And I'm cutting away from this because I don't want to run down and slip off and hit this. I want to do as much as you can to keep from hurting things. And this is trim we're not keeping. Now, a lot of people call this a pry bar. We just call it a flat bar because it's flat. When you use this, you don't just always just pull down like this. Sometimes it's a lot easier just to turn it sideways. Trying to make sure that it's not pulling the paper off. In this particular instance, I'm not really worried about it because we're going to be mudding this whole thing. I'm just trying to show you so that way in the future you end up doing it at your house and you need to save stuff and keep it pretty. It's just a better way of doing it. You know, if you pull some of the paper off, you just peel it off. Because when you go to mud this, you're just going to mud over this anyway. You're going to have to scrape this caulk bead down too to get it out of your way. Once it peels off like that. Just tapping in the finished nail that we're holding on the trim. Just get them out of the way now so that way you don't hook yourself on them, or when you go to do stuff, scraping, mudding, they're gone. Because otherwise it becomes a pain in your butt in the future. And a lot of times when you go to take them off, you end up missing them anyway. You end up coming to realize you missed one or two. Oh, see? Sebastian's letting me know on this one. He's good at reminding me about things like that. All right. Now this. I was gonna say what we might have to do is run a reciprocating saw down here, but we want to use a short blade, which is like a 4.5 or 5 inch blade. But you only want to run it in just far enough to cut the nails, because if you don't know what's inside here, you don't want to just run some big long blade in there and cut, because you could hit a wire or something, or you could hit the flue for this fireplace, and it's going to cost you a lot more to get things done. Here. Make sure you put drop cloths on them. You don't have to worry about the floor.
Not nailed in.
No, that's what I was saying. Top. I think just the bottom is. We see these bolts go in here somewhere, and I don't know what they go to. It's really interesting if somebody was able to get those bolts in there.
Might have done the drywall afterwards or something.
Usually people don't have the forethought to do that. I know I don't. I would have just taken the unit and just screwed it in here. So. I'm going to Phillips screwdriver here, please. Now, for me, when I do electrical, or when we do electrical, we always put all our screws in. Because that little thing that's sticking out right there would be the one thing that you end up touching or hitting while you're trying to do stuff, or wires that are in there. Maybe if you're using a metal box sometimes. And this is still hot, so just always turn your power off. I'm just moving it enough so where I can get this box out. Ideally, getting this box out in one piece is the main objective. However, sometimes when these things are put in a certain way and you can't get them out like you want to, the only way to get them out is to break them apart or cut them out. Yeah, there's a finish nail there, finish nail there. See that part right there? It's kind of like a blade almost. You could get that in there on your finish nail. Cut your nail. Always point this down. So many times I had it up like that, you're gonna hit your knee on that. It's not a good thing. He needs to take a break for a minute and help me get this out. On? Mm-hmm. Sure. Back up a little bit. Alright, this is basically how it was put together with these hinges. Looks like somebody trimmed it out. This is oak. Looks like hardwood oak around the front for the band. Rails and styles or whatever. Anyway, you see how they did this? They actually use like a veneered plywood. Okay, if you look along here, it's different layers, and the top layer is a veneer. Meaning it's like a sand grade plywood. But if you were to stain this, you can make this look like hardwood, and that's what's going down here too. And they do that to match this now. On the inside, you want that to be a stain grade or a paint grade where it's nice and smooth so you can paint it. It looks nice from the inside. This is what a lot of cabinets are made out of. When you go to custom cabinet shops or even get the ready to assemble cabinets, they will come the carcass, which is this part, the sides, the back, bottom, top, or veneered plywood, and then the fronts are your hardwoods, or some companies use MDF. And as you'll see that with us, I don't like using MDF for anything. I don't like using it as medium density fiberboard. It's basically powder almost. There are finer ones, but it's like a powder almost of wood with glue, and it's just all put together, and if it gets wet, it swells up, you can't fix it. So that's what kind of wood this is. Right in my face. Customer had a good question as far as when the company he's having come to hang his TV and all that, how are they going to find the studs? Well, they should have a stud finder, first of all. If not, what we always try to do, and we're not perfect at it, but we always try to do, is we'll just run our tape, and we'll take lots of pictures while we do jobs. So that way, if a customer ever has a question, or if we ever have a question, we can look at our pictures in the past to see where things were. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably find my marker, pencils and pens. Anyway, we'll probably run one, say right here, just about. And when they come to right there for me to draw something for you.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, these are the sides. These are the two we're going to put in the center. Okay, now when they come, the thing that they have for the TV mount, if you guys don't already know, is usually shaped something like that. And I'll have a bunch of slots. Something like that. And that way, they're slots, so they can move this thing back and forth a little bit because the TV's real big. So if this thing's this wide, If it's over to one side or another, it doesn't matter. Because this, like on the TV for our house, it has a thing like this. Then it has an arm that sticks out, and it's got a thing on it that's got these little, like a little V. Then on the back of our TV, we got a rail that fits into that V. So like on the back of our TV, it's got a rail here and a rail here. Whatever, they're even. And they're screwed to the back of the TV. And then these rails, because this thing here will have two V's. You take that, and here's the TV with a rail. And then you just take it and it hangs in there, hooks in there. And when it hooks in there, there's a set screw down here, like on ours. Not, I don't know if all of them are like this. But that way, when you mount this, and this is an arm that connects to this thing, and this used a lot of times, not all of them, but this is ours. And then the arm can come out, hook your TV on it, then you can put it back. And then this right here mounts here, this part, okay? And then this can adjust right or left, so that way, like when the arm closes, the arm's gonna stick out like this. When it closes, it might push the TV over here. So what they'll do is they'll move the whole thing on that back plate, whatever, it's screwed to the wall. So that way when the TV's against the wall, it'll go there. And that way if you push the TV out, you can put the TV out, turn it different ways, things like that. I like those type because that way I could pull it out and I can access the back of the TV, plug stuff in, unplug stuff. If I ever have to do anything, it's just easier to do that instead of trying to work, you know, in my mind against the wall, which I've never done one that just mounts it straight to the wall like that. But again, I don't know everything and I haven't done it all. So, as far as inside this cavity, please. Just an empty void. There's an electric line right there. It's going to that, which is one of the ones we're going to be disconnecting. And there's going to be one over here, which goes up and over to the one over here. So they're in line. So what we'll end up having to do is putting a box there with a cover plate that has access to the end of that wire, because you can't just close it up in a wall. These right here, cable wire, will just put a coupling on it, run a cable wire that comes out to what we're going to build. That right there, we're just going to run a wire into that box and then just bring it out to where we're at. So, it's a working fireplace. What is it, gas? Yeah. All right, so the flue probably just goes out the wall. It comes out right out back, or maybe they do have a chimney out back or something. So, anyway.